Hello, I'm John with Roadkill Incorporated. Welcome to Retro Resale, my new series. So today we're going to look at a massive Pocket PC lot, Tandy Radio Shack Pocket PC lot I picked up. Yeah, very interesting, unusual. I've never seen anything like it. And perhaps I was interested in it because when I was a kid, like when I was 10, I had one of these. It's a PC4 Tandy. And it's a pretty useless device. It's got like 1K of memory. It has a one-line screen. It actually still works, but you have to, it's bent, so you have to kind of squeeze it. There it is. Squeeze it so that the batteries connect. But yeah, you can't do much with it. It does have BASIC. You can write simple BASIC programs. You can, I think I remember using it to write journal entries. It was fascinating that something this small I could take with me and I could, type and write on it. It doesn't sound miraculous today, but in the 80s, that was quite a feat. So anyway, let's get started.
So I found these doing my most typical search of all, which is vintage computer. It's pretty much the best catch-all eBay retro search I've found, and of course I sort it by newly listed. I found it randomly. I certainly wasn't on the lookout for Pocket computers specifically. It was listed super badly. I mean, Septandy? That's the name of a month-long event given to September by Tandy enthusiasts, but it's not like anyone is going to look on eBay for that, so it's a horrible title. No mention of Radio Shack even. So it's badly listed, bad pictures, not even clear how many are included exactly, but absolutely insane. Look at all these docks with printers and manuals and boxes and box software. I didn't even know there was box software for these things. Just a massive and as complete a collection as you could hope to find, and it doesn't look like the owner knows anything even. Very quickly I searched a few completed items and confirmed that just a few of them in working condition could get me back all my money, so I actually bid on this one. It wasn't a buy it now, and I got it for $3.39 shipped, probably because no one else saw it because of how bad the listing was.
Well, here we are. This is what happens when you don't use enough supporting padding inside a box. It just caves in on itself. Okay, so I just cut the tape, and this is literally my first look inside this box. Whoa, it's just tossed in here. Oh my God. What the hell? Oh, look at this. Oh yeah, pool noodle. Okay, yeah, that helped. Ooh. Okay, we got some books. Ooh, okay, so this is a printer. Roll of paper covered in some sort of substance. They all come in these sort of leather-ish things here. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. Look at that. And that is it. Okay, got the software organized, and there are lots of duplicates. We've got one Engineering Math 4. We have 3 math drills. We have a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 copies of Business Statistics. 5 games, and Games was so good they came out with Games 2, have 4 of those. Business Finance, 2 copies of Golf, 1 copy Chemistry Math, Statistical Analysis, last but not least, Horse Race Analyst. I bet that's just loads of fun. Some spare manuals, and then we also have these sort of generic boxes. Invasion Force, look at this. The Cosmology of the Sirius Sector. Characteristics of the Starship Pegasus. The Syrian Invasion Force. A game like this would take a lot of imagination to get into. These generally seem to have 2 tapes each, which is a little surprising given that tape has a lot more capacity than the 2K or 4K or whatever these computers have. All right, so a little bit of time has gone by. I've organized things and educated myself a little bit, and I checked out this webpage. Really awesome page. This guy is just obsessed with these. Did a really good job of just laying out all the information you'd ever need. So check this page out. Also, 8-Bit Guy did a good video that kind of breaks it all down, and I learned a lot from that. So yeah, I'll just start going through it. Start with the manuals. This is the PC-1 manual, the original Pocket computer. It was only called PC-1 sort of retroactively. Originally, it was just Pocket Computer. So there's that. Then there's the PC-2. Then we have, actually, this is a jump to the PC-8 manual. And then we have the PC-6 manual, and also the box for the PC-6. And onto the devices themselves, we have 3 PC-1s. This guy here. And then we have 2 PC-2s. These are just really big, heavy, chunky things. And this is the Sharp version of the PC-2. Actually, the Radio Shack Tandy devices are mostly rebranded Sharps. So there's the Sharp version, there's the Radio Shack version. Very similar, but you can tell there is a little bit of difference in the layout. And then here we have the Sharp dock, and here we have the Radio Shack TRS-80 dock for the PC-2. Little bit different. These docks have embedded printers, and also they interface to the tape drive. So if you have a tape drive, you need a dock. And interesting to note, these printers are actually 4-color plotters. You can see the pens in there. Reminds me of the 1520 printer plotter I had for my Commodore VIC-20 when I was a little kid. Anyway, the PC-2 needs a specific dock because it's got that big chunky connector. And the docks have embedded NiCad batteries, unfortunately. And this one appears to have probably leaked, so I'm not looking forward to going in there. This one, actually, the others don't, but this one has a RAM expansion module. This comes down like that. And then there's also this RAM expansion module, which plugs into the left side in place of the dock. So I guess you can't have this plus the dock at the same time. So that's the PC-2. Next, we have the PC-3, which is a radical change, you know, very small little guy. Here's the PC-4. That's my own machine, my own device. Next, we have the PC-6, which is a pretty drastic change. Looks like that. It's got a membrane keyboard on top. This one is in amazing shape. This one has a broken hinge. The good one came in the box. These remind me of my own Casio scientific calculator that I got when I was 13 years old in 1987, and it still works perfectly. But apparently these came out several years prior. So this is not a full computer. This is just a calculator. These are full computers with BASIC, with scientific functions that came out several years before any standard scientific calculator, apparently. And then we have the PC-8, which was apparently pretty disappointing. It came out later, I think 87, and was pretty short on features, so compared to previous models, it didn't do so well. And then over here, we have a box for one of the docks. These are 3 docks for the non-PC-2 models. These have thermal printers instead of the pen printers. They have the cassette tape interface. Here's the cables if you wanted to connect to a cassette tape. Yeah, that's the breakdown. The next step will be to open all of these up and take out the batteries, because they all have batteries, and I'm already cringing to think of what the damage is going to look like. So I was lucky to have this pile of CR2025s around. Most of them take these. The PC-1s take these guys, and I didn't have these on hand, so this was like 25 bucks, but what are you going to do? Okay, it is battery time, starting with the 3 PC-1s. They take the 675 battery, And they are in this really strange arrangement. They take 4 of them. They're in here like this. Here's the guide. And then there's this plastic piece that sort of sandwiches them in place. And unfortunately, this thing did not power on. But then again, look at that screen. That screen is not good. It could be on and I wouldn't even know. Plus, it looks like, I guess there's been some work going on here. I don't know what this all is. And unfortunately, the other 2, the screw, the corner screw, which goes all the way through, is frozen. I think that they're corroded in place. So I'm going to use the Dremel to see if I can cut bigger notches into the screws. The second one, I managed to get the back off just with the screwdriver, just another try there. And you can see that internally it looks a lot cleaner. So that does sort of verify that this one's had something done to it. Put the batteries in here. Everything looked good. And it powers on with a beep. And if you look at the screen, you can kind of see letters appearing, although it's so dark you can't really see what you're typing. Third one, I did have to use the Dremel, and I mangled it a little bit. I had to cut the head off the screw. It was so in there, and you can see the screw is still in there as well. Lots of corrosion, otherwise looked good, but unfortunately, it does not power on. So yeah, kind of a mixed bag here. The best thing I can think of is that someone who gets these and has the time to do it could potentially swap the screen assembly out onto this unit with a good board and produce one good PC1. Okay, PC2s. I am horrified to take a look at these, quite honestly. These take AA batteries, and unfortunately my fears were justified. Look at these 30-year-old batteries. Look at this one. It's corroded onto the spring. Like, it's not even coming off of the spring. Wow, these are some terrible batteries if I've ever seen a bad battery. This one is more rust, really. And then these 2. Okay, it's been a little while. Cleaned them up with a toothbrush and some deoxit. They look not terrible. So I realized that a more competent person would open up these devices completely and examine them before trying the batteries, but hey, that's not me. Okay, so this one was working and then it stopped, so I don't know what I did to kill it. This one did not power on at all. And then the third guy actually seems to work just fine. So they have 2 modes, run mode and program mode. I barely remember how these work. Program mode. Do a 10 print. Enter. So I don't know. Let's see. Can I go to run mode and run the program? Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. PC3 is dead, unfortunately. The back was covered in battery griminess. And so you've got this thing here. This comes out. And then you have the batteries beneath that I put in, but not working. PC6, long story short, this guy does not work. Battery situation is similar with these as on the PC3. But this one, the one that's in good condition, look at that. Works perfectly. And it makes this beeping sound when you type. This keyboard up here is not as bad as you might expect it to be. And PC8, again, similar battery situation. Despite looking like crap, works fine. Interesting little computer. Strange choice to make the letter keys smaller than the others. Okay, on to the dock situation. Trying the working PC2. So I did read that you have to have a working computer before the docks will activate. So let's see how this goes. It's got a giant power brick. Power it on. Ooh, there's the printer attempting something. And it says check 6. So I assume that means something related to the dock. I don't know. I don't have much hope for the printer, but maybe we have some hope for the tape setup. Okay, and here's the PC-8 in its dock. So let's turn it on. I'm not sure of the order. Got a sound on the form feed. Not really expecting any of these printers to work. And we have a low battery light. So yeah, potentially a working dock. And as you can see here, there's the NiCad battery and the printer. And finally, here is the PC-1 on its dock. So we'll turn it on. It beeps. Can type on there. Turn on. Ooh, I heard a little sound from the printer. But again, third device conceivably usable with a tape drive. When I realized they used an external tape drive and could use many different kinds of external tape drives, I recalled that I got this free at a garage sale a few weeks ago. So I thought, hey, why not try this out? It's got all the inputs, looks great. I don't know what that means. So here I have the PC-8 trying to load software off a tape. I realized I could just turn the volume down on the tape player and it would seem to work otherwise. So what I did was type cload, C-L-O-A-D, and hit enter, and then you press play on the tape, and it's supposed to bring up the name of a program once it loads it, but it's finished loading this tape and nothing seems to have happened. One thing I thought of is most of the software seems to be for PC-2, and this is a PC-8. So let's try that again with the PC-2 in its dock. Okay, so we have the PC-2 connected to the tape player. I've made a few discoveries. There is a pass-through port on the back, so that memory expander that I was plugging into the left side can actually go into the back. And there's a cover for that slot, and there's a sort of an interesting little place on the underside where you can clip in the cover. What else? Oh yeah, this guy, this is the one that worked briefly. Turns out if you plug it into the power for the dock, it works fine. So it's really only the connection to its batteries that is flaky, which makes sense considering the corrosion. When I type cload, whoops, and enter, like the 8-bit guy does, instead of starting to load, once I press play, it gives me this error 22. And I get that regardless of which of these two I use. I get that whether the tape drive is disconnected or connected. And I don't get that when I type cload on their own outside of the dock. So to me, that rules out the computers, that rules out the tape drive, and the one constant is the dock. I don't know. I think either there's some configuration that's required that I'm not aware of, or the printer not working is sort of jamming it up and it won't proceed. Error 22 is not listed in the manual. There are a bunch of other errors, but not error 22. And I Googled it and couldn't find anything. So it's frustrating because I feel like I'm really close with this situation to be able to load software, but I'm just going to have to leave this one here.
So I haven't sold these yet, and I'm torn on how exactly to list them. The easy way would be to sell it all at once, sort of a massively improved version of the original listing, maybe at $9.99 with make an offer enabled. After all, a lot of the time you can double or triple your money just by testing everything and presenting it all with the information. Yeah, that's probably the way I'll go, just for the sake of time. On the other hand, I could sell 3 or 4 working ones for $100 each, and then maybe the broken lot with accessories for $400, and then maybe the software separately. I could even sell the software in sets, since there are so many duplicates and so many unopened. Hard to say if anyone is actually looking for the software, though. I suspect not. Like the 8-bit guy said once, there's lots of stuff out there that is rare, but not actually valuable. Although the software is impressive, I think it's probably in that category. So I'll list it and I'll get back to you on a later episode as to how it went. I might even link it to this video in the listing. That gives the buyer 100 times the amount of information that any normal eBay listing would ever have. So anyway, stay tuned. Okay, that's it. The biggest pocket computer lot you're ever likely to find. Such a strange and crazy collection. Not really a big moneymaker, probably, but well worth it in order to explore an interesting time period of history. I never imagined that I would get my hands on all of these devices. Thanks for watching.